Canada's forest industry was as good as any and better than most. But we quickly realized that in tomorrow's marketplace, in tomorrow's society, that simply wasn't going to be good enough. So we decided to become the best in the world.
I think the most cutting-edge example of what we can show in terms of the leadership of the Canadian forest industry around sustainability is the Canadian Boreal Agreement. We agreed on something that's never been done before, in my knowledge, in any jurisdiction around the world by the forest industry or any other natural resource industry. So I think that is certainly cutting edge, and it bodes well for the future of this industry and our willingness to collaborate with external stakeholders to get the best possible outcome.
As part of our commitment to the public in terms of the public forests, we've been engaged in a lot of research from birds to vascular plants to non-vascular plants to trees. With birds, for example, they use these highly sensitive microphones, so you can get an idea as to what are the bird species that are in this area of the forest. You also want to be doing monitoring of the work that you're doing and examining what are the effects of both forest management and cumulative effects on biodiversity.
We'll go into the forest, and I would invite you to look at the kind of biodiversity that we find in the intact forest of the Boreal. And then further down on the tour, we'll see logging operation and then regeneration coming back.
Prior to doing anything on the ground, we try and ensure the blocks are designed in a manner that's consistent with some of the key objectives that we have. Those objectives stem from our various certification schemes. We also have a lot of key components related to wildlife species. We'll talk with guides, trappers, First Nations that have an interest in the area to determine prior to development of the block what their interests are, what their concerns may be.
I'm a full-time trapper, so I get a chance to work with the forestry companies on a first-hand basis. Water and forestry and wildlife values all have to come together at the table, and we all at the end of the day we have to come out feeling good about what we've tried to accomplish.
After our completion of harvesting in here, we're going to bring this landscape back into production. First, we're going to plant the site, bring it to free growing within 20 years, and bring this site back into production with a healthy growing forest.
So what you're looking at here is rootstock that was grown in a nursery setting. The seedlings are contracted to be grown by nurseries within the province. And then after 1 or 2 seasons in the nursery, those seedlings are then planted out in the forest.
We're taking little white spruce seedlings that were grown in the nursery and planting those into site-prepared spots to create the next forest. So when we're out reforesting our cut blocks, we're putting trees back on the site, trying to put trees back in a way that represents what was on the site before we came in and did our harvesting practices.
Well, we have a zero waste imperative, and what's come out of that is not primarily environmental. What's come out of that is we've turned our waste stream into a value stream. So what used to be just sawdust and bark is now bioenergy, biodiesel, bioplastics. The key is extracting more and more value from every tree harvested.
Some of the initiatives that we have implemented in the last decade have been a fantastic reduction in our greenhouse gas emissions.
This facility is the cogeneration plant. It's responsible for supplying high-pressure steam to the plywood plant and sawmills. It also produces its own power to supply the building itself, and it also can provide up to 20 megawatts of export energy to the BC Hydro grid.
What we're looking at here is actually not a commercial following product. It's actually a mountain pine beetle killed wood. that's been hardened by an artificial process.
What you see behind me, it's a full-scale model of a two-story structure built of cross-laminated timber. The product is produced out of different layers of boards that are oriented 90 degrees to each other.
This deck that you're seeing here is actually the result of a considerable amount of research that's been done over the years. This is our answer to wood plastic composite decking, a product that's going to look a lot nicer for a lot longer.
We have this approach to environmental progress is that it's never good enough. We have to be better than anyone else in the world, and we have to keep getting better than we are today.
The path for our industry has never been 100% clear, and it isn't now. But I think what is clear is when you look at the environmental performance of the Canadian forest products industry, when you look at our global leading forest management practices, when you look at the green energy record and the carbon reduction that's been achieved by this industry, that's a pretty good platform to build on. And when you look at the leadership of this industry and how the thinking has evolved into building from on our commodity platform to a more innovative industry in the future, this is a pretty exciting industry to be in.